You filed it, or you're about to, and somewhere in that process, between the receipts you found in a drawer and the line items you almost missed, you had a moment. A flicker of something that felt like, wait, there's more here than I realized. Welcome to Quantum Wealth Lab. Today, we're inside the mechanism of tax loophole alignment, the neurological rewiring that makes you the kind of person who consistently finds what they're owed, claims what's legal, and receives more than the average filer ever does. Not because you're smarter, because you're attuned. Most people approach taxes the same way every year. Gather documents, plug numbers, hope for the best, flinch at the result. That is a passive posture. It treats the tax code as something that happens to you. But here is what high net worth filers understand, and what we are hardwiring into your subconscious today. The tax code is a map. A map of the deductions, credits, carry-forwards, and timing strategies that the system itself has explicitly made available to those who know how to read it. The loophole isn't a shortcut. It is a door that was always there. You just weren't standing in front of it yet. This episode is for the person who has a growing sense that they are leaving money on the table every April, who has started tracking expenses more carefully, who hired someone new, started a side income, made a charitable contribution, bought equipment, worked from home, and hasn't yet fully claimed the financial recognition those decisions deserve. We are rewiring the reflex today. The one that says, I probably don't qualify, is being replaced by the one that says, let me check what I'm entitled to. Those two reflexes produce radically different outcomes across a filing lifetime. Settle in, breathe. This is not a tax seminar. This is the neural session that makes the tax seminar land differently when you attend it. The one that makes you pay attention to the right line, ask the right question, keep the right record. Let's begin the rewiring. You are a precise financial thinker. That is not a compliment, it is a category. Most people never claim that category. They outsource their financial identity to whoever does their taxes, whoever gives the advice, whatever the default settings are. But you are not a default. You are someone who has started noticing things, reading things, asking questions that your past self wouldn't have known to ask. The person who finds surprise deductions is not luckier than average. They are more aligned than average. Their nervous system has been trained, consciously or through painful experience, to recognize value where others see only obligation. You are that person, not eventually. Right now, the receipts you kept, the home office you use, the professional development you invested in, the charitable giving you did without even thinking about the tax implications because you were acting from your values. All of it is data. All of it has a number. And all of it is part of the case you are building every day for why you are owed more than the standard deduction suggests. Tax precision is an identity before it is a skill. You have to decide that you are someone who knows the difference between an expense and a deduction, between income and taxable income, between what you earned and what you are legally required to surrender. Decide that now. You are a precise financial thinker. Your money does not disappear, it moves. And you know how to read where it's moving. Picture the refund, not as an amount you vaguely hope for, as a specific, vivid arrival. The notification appears. The direct deposit clears. The number is larger than last year's, larger than you expected, larger than the preliminary estimate suggested. Because in between that estimate and the final filing, you found something. A deduction you'd been eligible for and never claimed. A credit you qualified for this year that you didn't last year. A conversation with your accountant where you said, I started doing this side thing, and they said, that changes everything. Feel the particular texture of that arrival. It is not gambling when energy, it is something quieter and more satisfying. It is the feeling of being seen by a system that usually ignores you, of having done the work precisely enough that the math rewarded you for it. Abundance in the tax context is not a windfall, it is a recognition. The system, cold, algorithmic, indifferent, reviewed your year and concluded, this person is entitled to more than the average filer. and it paid accordingly. You live in a field of deductions that are already legally assigned to your situation. The home office ratio, the vehicle mileage, the educational material, the subscriptions that support your work, the equipment that makes the income possible. These are not tricks. They are yours. The abundance is already coded into your circumstances. You are simply developing the fluency to claim it fully. The neural rewiring only holds if you move. Here is the single most consequential habit of every high-return filer. They do not leave tracking until March. They build the record in real time. A receipt photographed on the day. A mileage note logged the same evening. A business meal categorized before the credit card statement even arrives. This is not obsession. It is the 5-minute discipline that adds hundreds, sometimes thousands, to a refund. The brain resists it because it feels administrative, and the old rewiring says administration is for people with more time and more to protect. The new rewiring says, this is how I signal to my financial system that I take my own money seriously. One action today: create or open your expense tracking method. A spreadsheet, an app, a folder in your email labeled deductions this year. It does not need to be elaborate. It needs to exist, and it needs to get used. Second action: write down 3 categories you have spent money on this year that support your income or professional life. Just 3. You will be surprised how quickly that list grows once you start it. The alignment is built in these moments, not in the April rush. The people who find the loopholes are the people who spent the other 11 months building a record precise enough to surface them. You are becoming one of those people, right now, today. There is something worth appreciating here that most financial content misses. The tax code was written, in part, by people who wanted working individuals and small operators to keep more of what they earn. The home office deduction, the self-employment health insurance deduction, the retirement contribution limits, the qualified business income deduction for sole proprietors. These were not accidents. They were intentional provisions, policy choices that say, if you operate this way, you get to keep more. That is a form of systemic generosity, buried under language so dense most people never find it. Be grateful for the complexity, because the complexity is where the recognition lives. The filer who skims the surface pays surface rates. The filer who goes deeper finds the deductions that the depth was designed to reward. You are grateful for the years you overpaid, not because overpaying is good, but because those years created the contrast that makes this moment of alignment feel real and worth protecting. You will not go back. You have paid the tuition of not knowing, and now you know enough to do better. And you are grateful for whoever introduced you to precision, a better accountant, a course, a podcast, a moment of deciding to read the form instead of just signing it. That moment was a turning point. This session is deepening it. Let's address the thing that stops most people at the door of precision. It is not complexity, it is guilt. There is a deep cultural conditioning, particularly strong in certain communities, that says claiming everything you're owed is somehow greedy, that a smaller refund is more honest, that finding a deduction feels like cheating, even when it is completely legal and explicitly designed for your situation. This is one of the most expensive beliefs a person can hold, and I want to be direct with you about it. That belief is not ethics. It is a learned smallness. It was given to you by people who were also given it, and none of them were served by it. You are worthy of every dollar the tax code says belongs to you. Not some of those dollars, not the ones that feel safe. Every legal, documented, applicable dollar. The accountant who charges 3 times more than the one you used last year is not charging you more because they're greedy. They're charging more because they know where the money is and they get it for you. You deserve that level of precision applied to your finances. You are not too small. Your situation is not too ordinary. The deductions that apply to you are just as valid as the ones that apply to the person with 10 times your income. The code does not grade on net worth. Neither should you. Step into the version of you who has been filing precisely for 3 years. That person's relationship with money is architecturally different from where you started. Not just because of the cumulative refunds, though those compound meaningfully, but because of what the practice of precision does to the nervous system over time. It trains you to see your financial life as a structure with a blueprint, not a fog to be survived. That future self does not dread tax season. They approach it the way a project manager approaches a quarterly review, organized, systematic, confident they've captured what needs to be captured. They meet with their accountant proactively. They make retirement contributions based on a strategy, not a hope. They understand the difference between marginal and effective rates. They make decisions throughout the year that are informed by the tax implications because they've learned that timing matters. You are allowed to embody that person today. Not in every practical skill, those develop with time, but in posture. In the orientation of someone who is building a tax strategy, not just filing a return. The future self who is financially precise and significantly better off because of it is not a fantasy. They are the direct product of the habit you are choosing to build right now. 1 year of precision creates the foundation. 3 years creates a system. A system creates the future you are building toward. Permit yourself to start today. Pull the threads together. You came here today with a sense, maybe vague, maybe sharp, that your tax situation contains more than you've been claiming. That the system has provisions you qualify for and haven't touched. That somewhere between what you earn and what you owe, there is a space that belongs to you and you haven't fully stepped into. That sense is correct. It always has been. The work today was not to teach you tax law, it was to rewire the reflex that makes you stop before the door. The reflex that says this is probably not for me. That reflex has a cost. Every year it fires, it costs you the deductions you could have taken, the contributions you could have maximized, the credits you could have claimed. The new reflex says, let me look closer. And looking closer is how the surprise deductions get found, not through luck, through the discipline of attention aligned with a belief in your own financial worthiness. Identity, you are a precise financial thinker. Abundance, the deductions are already in your year, they just need to be surfaced. Action, build the record now, not in March. Gratitude, the complexity exists to reward those who go deeper. Worthiness, every legal dollar is yours. Future self, 3 years of precision changes the architecture. That is the alignment. That is the loophole, not a technicality, but a mindset that finds what the inattentive leave behind. Until next time, keep expanding. Here is your action before you close this tab. Open your email, search for receipts, business meals, subscriptions, mileage logs, equipment purchases, anything in the last 12 months that touched your professional life. Don't sort them yet, just find 3. Screenshot them or forward them to an email folder called deductions. That's it, 3 items. Because the loophole alignment is not a revelation, it is a practice. And the practice starts with 3 items in a folder. If you work with an accountant, send them a message this week asking, are there any categories I've been underclaiming? That one question has returned more money to more people than any other single act in the tax preparation process. If this session rewired something for you, share it. Tag someone who files every year on autopilot and has never thought to ask what they might be missing. That tag might be worth hundreds of dollars to them. Subscribe if you're building your financial precision over time. The channel is a library of these protocols, each one a layer of the rewiring. Leave a comment with today's community question. What is one deduction you almost missed this year? Or one category you're going to start tracking that you haven't been? The community reads these. Your answer helps someone else find theirs. Until next time, keep expanding.